I drove from the social down, and then we went into France, then into Luxembourg, back into France, then down to Switzerland. But I was doing mentorship sessions from the van / sat outside and things. I was trading every morning as well. So I think one day I sort of sat, I think literally next to Lake Geneva on a call with somebody doing their mentorship, looking at their charts, doing what it is we do, whilst then go off on my paddleboard around on the lake for a bit, which was
that sounds like a good trader lifestyle.
Sounds like
it was
a great
alright.
day, doesn't it? Yeah.
And yeah, it was quite cool because I was still able to trade live, whilst there, because going back to trader lifestyle, and you see these online traders who have 6 screens and 25 indicators and all that thing. We have a laptop and an internet connection. I was able to hotspot off my phone, or a lot of these campsites had Wi-Fi, so I was still able to actually place trades. And the trades that I was placing basically paid for the trip as well, which was quite nice. Which when you're in Switzerland, if anybody's ever been to Switzerland, and
it's so expensive.
It is. It really is.
Even camping.
Yeah, because my van doesn't have a fridge. I was having to buy food for the day, and so I was going to they've got like a Lidl in Switzerland. I went to Lidl, bought food for the day, and spent like €60. I was like, how have I spent €60 in Lidl? I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
That could feed myself for a week. Yeah. So yeah, it is quite expensive, but. Again, so those live trades, that wasn't a goal. It wasn't like, this is what I'm going to try and do. I just sort of realised at the end of the month when I looked at the credit card bill and then looked at the trading accounts. Oh, that's cool. So yes, that's van life.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So no Lamborghinis.
No. What a waste of money.
But it's kind of what you make of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like your trading lifestyle can be whatever you want. What's your like?
It is, and I completely agree, Sophie. It's what do you want? You don't need to be a billionaire necessarily. You don't even necessarily need to be a millionaire to live the type of life that you want. It's about what do you truly want out of life? What do you want your day-to-day to look like? So I think I had that realization a few years ago. I think I was on this trajectory of just trying to build wealth. I was like, what am I doing this for? Where am I really trying to get to? What I want is time freedom. What I want is to be able to help other people. What I want is to not worry about my private medical insurance and things like all those little bits of life. Those are
Tell
what's
us about
important.
your best trading day, because I remember that from Forex in 5.
My best trading day, not my biggest ever trade.
No, your best day, because it wasn't
day.
about the money, it was about what you got to do on that day, I think.
My best trading day was November 2016. And it's not my best trading day, it was my favourite trading day. And the reason it was my favourite trading day is because I'd had 4 winning trades, which I'd done in the morning. It took me less than 20 minutes, raised the orders, and I got in my car. And I got in my car because I was driving to the north of England to see my nan for her 90th birthday. And it was such an important day because, yes, I had winning trades. It wasn't about them. It wasn't about the money made. It was about the fact that I was doing what I wanted to do. And there's a Tony Robbins quote which is about freedom, and he defines freedom as being doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, with the people you want to do it with. And it taken me a while to realise, because I've been financially free for a while at that point, but that was the day I was like, oh my goodness, I'm literally doing what I want, when I want, with the people I want.
Yeah.
And it's funny because today I had one of those realisations again, and I was just walking along the street, almost got run over because I was in my own little world, filming myself, and I just had that real deep gratitude of I'm literally living the life that I said I wanted. It's happening right now.
That's amazing.
And it was such a deep sense of gratitude, and it only happened for me because of trading. So I'm still working on like other goals and things like that, and we're moving out of London, me and my other half, because we realised we want a lifestyle which is slower paced, it's more peaceful, it's got more space. So we're moving to the middle of nowhere with an acre of land and a nice big old house, because that's the type of life we want. And I just encourage people, figure out what you actually want and then go for that. And I don't need to be a billionaire for that. A few million, but billionaire, no.
I have to agree, because in December I was sitting watching my 6-year-old in her nativity play, which was adorable.
Yeah.
And 3 years beforehand, I was in a job and they didn't let me go.
Wow.
Yeah, to your kid's nativity, and they only do it till they're like 6.
Exactly.
They might do 1 or 2, and then they just don't do it, and they're older, and they're like, no, they're too cool. So they were like, no, you don't have permission. So I was like, I'm gonna go anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
But they didn't let me go to that. They didn't let me go to the dentist. They were like, no, you can arrange that out of your hours. And it was just awful. And I was, watching my kid in December thinking, you know, this is important, this is it, this is why.
It's the important things of life.
What about people listening who are in their 9 to 5 right now, and they've got all this, you know, maybe a bit of debt and bills and stuff, and they're listening to this thinking, well, that would be great, but how do I even do it?
Yeah.
Can they do that with trading?
Completely, yeah. And I'm just going to be really honest. One of my biggest bugbears is people in life who want something different and they moan about not having the different, but they do nothing about it. And there's some very, very simple and easy steps you can take right now to move yourself out of that situation. If you're not in a job or you're not running a business you enjoy, whatever it is. One of the easy steps is trading, and to get started with us and to learn more about it, even if you don't end up starting with us, but read our ebook. Like, it's a really good way just to get some free knowledge, free information, and find out if it's a good fit for you, if it ticks your boxes, or come along to one of our masterclasses. Again, completely complimentary, and that's a really good way to find out, is trading something that might work for me?
Amazing. What would you say to those people, Josh?
Well, again, I sort of echoing what Lewis said. It's a case of, you know, if it is something you want to do and you realise that the life you're currently living isn't the life you want to live, you almost deserve it to yourself to take that step. And it can be as easy as reading the ebook. At least find out if it's something you might be interested in doing. Because it might be a case that you read and go, actually, no, that's maybe not for me. And that's fair enough. You can go look for something else. But it's a case of take those steps. I was exactly the same with teaching. You know, I absolutely loved teaching, but I quickly realised that it's not something I'm going to want to do until I retire, for multiple reasons, which the podcast isn't long enough to go into. It's a whole new podcast for that. And it was just by chance that I actually got introduced to Star Trading. Somebody who I knew had already joined up. I think Star Trading had just started, hadn't it?
Yeah.
It was only a couple of weeks old, and it was just by chance that I sort of knew this person. They introduced me. I thought, yeah, you know what? That's, at least let's have a look. You know, let's get on. Let's message Lewis. Let's have a phone call with him at least, and let's do something about it. And I still remember that day that we had that first conversation, and that was the day where it did get me to the point where I am now on the path of the life that I want to live. Almost got emotional.
Ah, is that a little tear in your eye, Lewis?
Almost got emotional.
Yeah.
That was it. When was that? When did you have that call?
So that was when I was still teaching at the time. But this was it was early 2020 because it was just before lockdown.
Yeah.
And I had just got back from teaching. I'd been teaching at school all day, and I still, because teaching doesn't pay a lot of money, I was actually working at a pub.
Wow.
As well. So it was on a Friday, and I got back from teaching all day, quick change, and then I was driving to my pub job, and it was actually on the drive to my pub job that we had that phone call, and it was a case of, right, sign up. So I signed up that day because have out of this. But yeah.
So 3 years ago you had 2 jobs and you were not trading, and now you're
at one stage I had 3.
Yeah.
Because I was teaching, pub job, and
stripper.
I would never make enough money. I'd be the first stripper to offer a meal deal. No, I was delivering pizzas for Domino's.
Yeah.
Well,
you do
I
what
think
you
that's
need
close
to
to
do,
being
don't
a stripper.
you?
That is very close. That was the meal deal.
It was. I've still got the outfit. No, you have to give it back.
But you were doing what you needed to do,
Yeah.
and now you took this opportunity, like a phone call.
Yeah.
And if anyone listening does feel stuck, because there's so many people like that, and it is really hard to get your mindset of something else. You know, there is this possibility, and you do loads of free stuff. So go do
That's
it, guys.
it. And it was a case of, you know what? I'll drop a message. What's the worst that can happen? He's not going to sort of charge me to reply or anything like that. I've got nothing to lose at this point, and all I'm going to do is get a bit of info. And it was that phone call. I was like, yeah, okay,